Hi, fashion dolls. It is finally Friday, May 3rd, and welcome to another episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today, it's been a minute since we caught up. He needs no introduction. He is a multi award winning singer, songwriter, and I'm super excited to welcome him back to the Dollhouse. It's been a minute since we did our very first interview, which would be in 2021, I want to say. But he is back today, and we have something in common. We'll talk about that in the interview. Through a mutual friend. We know a mutual friend. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome to the Dollhouse. Put your hands together, Will Preston.
Hey,
Hello. Hi, stranger. It's been a minute.
it's been about
Yes,
2 or 3
since we did
years.
our very first interview, I want to say back in 2021.
Yes, I think I was releasing my first one. I was releasing Where Do I
Yeah.
Begin? I believe is the project I was. Yeah. So it's been a few years. It's
Yeah.
good to be back. But it's not like I haven't followed you. I've been keeping up over the years, so I know what you're doing.
Yes, we both have been so busy. You've got a single out right now. Of course, I lied, which is very popular. It's hitting the top of the charts. It is charting, and we will talk about that. But how has 2024 been for you? Because, like you said, it's been 2 or 3 years since we did our very first interview, which would have been around the time the pandemic started.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2024 has been interesting so far. I'm really just, I feel like I'm getting my groove in 2024. I unfortunately lost my father at the beginning of
Oh,
2024. He passed away at the end of January. So as you can imagine, that always sets you back, and but I'm moving forward. I know he would want me to do just that, and so. But again, it was just one of those things that was unexpected, and it can take its toll. So, but otherwise, 2024 is getting off to a good start. I'm preparing to release my next project, so finalizing that. You mentioned, of course, I lied. So, of course, that is was the lead single from that project, and I'm actually going to be releasing another single from the project coming up in the next few weeks or so. So you gotta stay tuned to that. I'll make sure
I
you get a
can't
demand
wait.
copy.
I can't wait. And we also have a mutual friend in common, too. I wish she was here. She's going to pop in.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys do not know, the original interview that was scheduled today was Mick. Mick is actually Will's publicist. So, tell us how that happened because she is amazing. I write for her magazine.
Yeah. Yeah, Mickey is just she's amazing. It's she keeps me busy. Like I'm always, doing something. And she was like, Miss Stevie. I was like, of course I'll do Miss Stevie. I think I'm scheduled to do you in August. It's like that's
Yeah.
how far out she keeps me ready. But I know that I'm scheduled for you in August. But I was like, sure, I would love to talk to Miss Stevie. But Mickey and I met, it's been several months now, and I don't remember what the actual connection was of how we became joined, but, through some conversations and talking, and then I ended up she became a member of my team, and so I ended up, she's my publicist, and she is just absolutely wonderful. She stays busy. Her magazine is amazing, so that's also a bonus. I get to be featured in that. So, but yeah, she really does a great job of PR, and she keeps me, in the face of the people, and that's exactly what a great PR person does. But not only that, she's a wonderful journalist. Like you said, you contribute to her magazine. I've seen your articles and all of the others who write for her, and she's been absolute, just been great since she's been on board.
Well, when I tell you she's so divine, like she reached out to me, I want to say back in 2022 or 2023, and she saw the fashions and everything. Because you guys know I'm always changing up, I do not stay the same.
Hmm.
And she reached out to me, she said, "Hey, how would you like to write for my magazine? I love your style, and you would bring something edgy and different to it." And every creative idea, every concept for every article, she's always an A plus game player forward. She's so creative, and I love what she's done with this publication, with how she's combined. Okay, you've got music, you've got art, you've got acting, you've got fashion, you've got
Yeah.
so many aspects of this publication. And not only that, but she's managing artists as well too. Because we originally had something scheduled. You said Miss Stevie's going to be doing something with me this month, and you wasn't on the lineup, and she forgot to tell me. So we got you in the lineup, and we're here. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was on my calendar. I know I was scheduled for you at some
Yeah.
time in May, and then it got scheduled for August, which was fine, and then today, so I'm even earlier than we anticipated. So it went from being scheduled to being delayed to now being
And
pushed
we're
up.
here.
But the good thing about it is that, whenever I talk to you this year, it's going to be something to talk about because I have a lot of things happening and I'm just excited and it just feels good. So, these lives and you got calls coming in, but we'll be able to talk about, many more things and even in August.
Yes. Now, Will, you have a very extensive catalog of their Speaker the Double. There she is. Hey, Mick.
She comes in, she misses all the superlatives
Yes.
and the accolades that we bestowed upon her, and she'll have to catch the replay to,
Get
to hear
well
all of
soon, honey.
that.
Yes, she couldn't do the interview with me today, you guys. So sending you love and light, Mick. I'm glad to have you here. We were just giving you your flowers again. When me and her, because we did two interviews together, me and her already, and we had a conversation, and she had me tearing up. She's like, "Oh my God, you're so great. You're great for our publication." So she made me tear up in the interview, but I was giving her flowers in return. We were doing it to each other. She had me tearing up in the second one. But Mick, if you missed it again, we were just pouring into you and letting you know that this publication, Original Magazine UK, you've created a diamond in the rough. You've created a diamond because being able to combine so
Hmm.
many people from so many different walks of life, different continents and parts of the world. Like you've got Ellen, you've got Mike, who's on the main cover. You've got Will, who's on the cover here as well too. And you had Ellen on the cover as well. Ellen's coming on the show sometime, I think this month as well too. And how you combine all of us together to be able to just create our creative juices and put them to the test. You've done something immaculate. So we had to give you your flowers, Pete. Thank you.
Yeah, her publication in and of itself. I mean, you think about that. Not only is she a
Oh yeah.
PR professional and a publicist, but she has her own magazine. Those are two totally. They could be two full-time entities in and of itself. And just to think of her ability to juggle all that and somehow manage to mesh them together where it works for everybody. It's just wonderful. I mean, just on the PR side, she's great. I mean, she's got me. We're doing everything, and sometimes you think so narrowly as an artist, and you think solely music and music outlets. But Mickey has me submitting recipes to a magazine in Holland, or because she knows I like to cook. So and so we have so many twists and turns to what she offers and what she does. It's just really amazing to have her energy and have her to be a part of what I'm
Yes.
doing.
And Mick, again, wishing you a speedy recovery. And again, I can't thank you enough for giving me this opportunity. You saw what I was doing, you saw my vision, and you saw other people's visions, and you reached out to each and every one of us individually, and you gave us an opportunity to write for your publication. Again, this is a diamond that she has created. It's so innovative for how every issue that she comes out, it is a hit, hit by hit by hit by hit
Yeah.
by hit. And to give people the opportunity to manage them as well too, you're doing it, girl. So we are so proud of you, Mick, and thank you again for giving me this creative opportunity. And she also reached out to me. You guys have seen it, it's pinned on my page. On it was International Women's History Month. She put me as one of the most inspirational women. So it was Caldosha Ona Carroll, who I've also interviewed, created this list of all these women from different walks of life. And you reached out to me and she said, would you like to be on this list? Or there was something of the extent, I'm nominating you. It was, I'm nominating you for this list of women. And then the article comes out the next day and she sends it to me and I'm seeing myself, I'm like, wait, what? So thank you, Mick, again. You are genius.
And she moves fast. She moves fast. Like she'll, she'll call and
Yeah.
she'll say or send me a message and this guy in the UK wants you to be on his podcast, or this guy wants you to do this, or this company wants this. I'm thinking, okay, great, sure, I would love it. The next day she's like, okay, Will, I need it. So we move fast, and that's a good thing. I mean, like she has things in the pipeline, and things are, she works hard and she gets out there and discovers opportunities. She's someone who doesn't just wait on a door to open. She goes out there and knocks the doors down, or she creates her own doors.
And
So it's a
anytime
great
she
thing.
needs advice, she'll reach out to me. She'll reach out to you. She'll reach out to Mike. She'll reach out to Ellen. Anybody that is in the group, she'll reach out and she say, "What do you think about this?" Or, "Would you like to interview?" For me, it's always, "Would you like to interview this person from the UK?" And I'm like, "Sure." They'll work. My platform is a platform for everybody to have fun and a good time. And
Yeah.
the way she suggests people to me is just like, "You'll love Miss Stevie. You'll love her. You'll love her energy," because I always come on vibrant, full of life, happy, and that is what
Hmm.
draws people in. So for her to be suggesting people,
That's why I wore red. That's why I wore red for you today. I had on black. I had on a black shirt, and I was like, "No, this is Miss Stevie." I was like, "I know she's gonna be done up. I can do a little bit." So I was like, "Let me change my color." So I went and put on some red
yeah,
for you.
this dress that I'm wearing today is see-through, y'all. And I took a risk, and I know my mama's a God-fearing woman, so when she sees the photo, yeah, I, I'm gonna have to see her reaction after the show. Y'all gonna have to see it. I'm gonna have to record it or something. But Mick, I love you too. I just seen your comment. I love you too. And we can't thank you enough for creating a publication that is different than other publications, where you have magazines like, okay, you got People Magazine, they put recipes in there sometimes. And Time magazines will sometimes put recipes in their magazine and they will talk about actors. So this publication is different because you include fashion. It's every walk of life in the entertainment business. And Lady T Lee 35 says, "Hi, Will."
Hi, Lady T. I think that's Lady TOY, which I think is my cousin. If I can't see, but I believe so. So she's all the way from Virginia. If that's her, so she's
Yes,
joining.
welcome to the show, family. So, songwriting for you. Let's get into your music because, Will, you create songs about love and romance, and you know, "Falling in Love" is one of my favorites. But you gave us "Never Knew
That's your
Love."
favorite.
You
I
gave
remember
us, "Of
that.
Course I Lied." You gave us "Afterplay." Almost every single you've created about was about love. And where does the inspiration for love and romance come for you in your music?
Well, I guess I would have to say I'm apparently a romantic at heart, but I think love is one of those things that you can never run out of topics in love. I mean, love is so multifaceted. It's everywhere. It's what everybody ultimately aspires to have in some form, whether we're talking about relationships or just loving and friendships or family, whatever it is. I mean, so love is an element and an emotion that is just so abundant to give. It's just great that it's something that I can write with from so many varying angles. I mean, we talk about, you mentioned, of course, I lied, and that was the lead single for my new project, and it's a different side of love than what I'm used to writing and singing about. And so it really talks about a relationship that has kind of gone bad. And, someone has gotten caught in this indiscretion. And, he's basically saying, of course I lied. Did you think I was going to tell you the truth about, these things I was doing and what I was doing to you? Don't you think that it would have broken your heart? How are you going to move on from this kind of thing? So, and that's a very real element of love. And so that's something that I kind of toyed with as I was writing and preparing to release. Is this something that my fan base would appreciate and want from me, knowing that I wrote songs like
Yeah.
Candy Coated Raindrops or Never Knew Love or It's My Will, those types of songs. But in reality, it's just being real, and it's just a very real emotion and a very real element that almost everybody will have experienced in some point in their lives. If they've been in love, you're going to experience the good and the bad. So I write about it, and it's one of those things that I say, you don't dwell in that moment, you don't get stuck in the moment, but you acknowledge the moment and you move on. So, of course, I lied is kind of one of those songs that you just kind of acknowledge. You can kind of relate to it, maybe, and hopefully it makes you feel good at some point throughout the song. You listen, and then hopefully, at least vocally, I bring a smile to your face. But there are a couple of songs that I've written like that. This is one, and The End is another that is really about a relationship on the outskirts is a powerful song as
And
well.
there have been people who've been in situations like this where it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to tell a lie to this person because if I tell them the truth, they will hurt them either way. So, what was people's
Right.
reactions? Have they sent you messages about this particular song?
Oh, all the time. And interestingly, males and females. I mean, it's been the reaction has been like, oh, that's been my story, or I can relate, or someone's like, oh, you're crazy, but but it's been all kind of things. It's been, but for the most part, it's been relatability. People can relate. Like I said, if you've been in love, you've been burned in love before. You may have been the person who did the wrong. So it's someone it hits you at some point somewhere. If you live long enough and been in enough relationships, or even a long-term relationship, you're going to experience some type of relatability to this song. But the response was really good. It was really strong and interesting. I think people enjoyed hearing that different style of writing from me, somewhat different sound. So I think it was something that people actually enjoyed.
And a mass reactions from people because when you dropped the single, you teased it. You gave us like it's like a puzzle piece. Each day you had a part of a photo of you, and then another part of a photo. I said he's coming out with something. And then when you dropped the single, and
Yeah,
I listened to it, I said, "Wow, this is completely different than falling in love. This is like okay, this is a relationship on the rocks here. You're lying to me." But I have to lie to you sometimes because I don't want to hurt you. Sometimes telling a person the truth can hurt them. You want to lie, but that's
right.
understandable. But at the end of the day, the truth always saves a healthy relationship. And that's anything.
Yeah,
So my next
yeah.
question.
And the thing is, I didn't before I didn't. That song has no resolution, by the way. So I didn't end it by saying they stayed together or they left. So there could be a part two one of these days. I don't know, but what I really wanted to do was not necessarily bring closure to the moment, but just recognize the instance. Just recognize that that's something that people go through, and so I didn't want to put an ending on it because we have many different endings for various situations. So one person's ending is not going to be the others, but at least that particular moment and that emotion can be
So for
relatable.
you, because you write songs that help relationships, that heal relationships, do you say that your music helps people in falling in love, or people who've experienced a bad relationship, or is going through something in their relationship?
Interesting question. I think that it's about love, and I think that I've written about the span of love. I think that at this point, you could look back through my catalog, and let's say if you were having doubts about love or you were feeling bad about love, I think that you could pull, many songs from me will feed that element of suspense for you or feel that emotion for you. I think if you are ending love, I have written enough now that you can go back and play songs with me that will satisfy you in that moment. So I think that now, in the beginning, it was probably very much about falling in love. That early love, that all adoring kind of utopian type love. That's how it was for me writing in the very very beginning. But I think now with the body of work, you'll be able to see the span of love. And the great thing is that there's still so much more to write about. But I have enough material out there now that it could really be helpful and impactful and relatable for anyone. You just put it on and let it play from all the tracks, or go to Spotify and put it on random play Will Preston, and I think that you will find a soothing element to it.
And when we did our first conversation, I asked you about some of your musical influences or influence you. And it's just like you've taken a toll of your own will. Your music career has definitely shifted in a different direction. Every album that you came out with has been a different part of you or pieces of you. How many, from personal experience, how many of these songs would you say, okay, I can pull from this?
Um, Many of them, I think, probably the overwhelming majority of them will have at least some element or some vein of who I've been and who I've grown into, or who I was in the past, or who I've become. I think that I can find inspiration in all of my songs on some level. Some of them are probably more autobiographical than others, because I can look at someone else's situation and it inspires me to write a song. I can watch a movie or a show or whatever, and it sparks something in my mind to write about a particular topic. But I'll definitely say that I always, and even if it hasn't been my own testimony, so to speak, when I'm writing and I'm in that zone, it's like you have to become that person, you know. So you become the subject in your art. So I become that person in that relationship, you know, whether it's on this side or that side of it. I place myself there so that I can feel it. And then, you know, when you're singing it in the studio, it's a completely different thing, because then you have to, you know, pour out the emotions vocally. And so you have to really place yourself in the character, and that's really what I try to do. So I wouldn't really write about something that I didn't think I could feel in some way, or be able to place myself in
We're
that moment.
seeing so many male R&B artists come out, and Will, you've been in the game for a long time. What do you think about the next generation of male R&B artists that are coming out, like October London, Lucky Day? I mean, there's so many to name a few. There's new faces popping up and emerging every day in the R&B music world. So, what do you think about the next generation of the male R&B artists?
Yeah, and I love them. October London, I love his music. And I think it's wonderful. You know what I really think about social media in general, and digital music sites, is that we are now able to be exposed to so many people, including myself. You know, fans can be exposed to me where in the past they may not have been able to. They wouldn't have known about my music. So it allows us to really explore all types of options. And so while everyone today might not be the huge superstar that we were used to seeing when we were growing up, when the labels were throwing, you know, tons and tons of money behind people, we have less of those today. But what we do have more of is the sheer talent, the raw talent, the ability to tap into that. So I think it's a wonderful thing. You know, people say that R&B is dead or dying. It's really not. I mean, all you have to do is really search for it and look for it. I think that, you know, my career in music just continues to evolve with each new project. I gain more fans and people who love and appreciate my music. And so it's been a wonderful thing. I think for me, I look at it as having been more of a marathon than a sprint. It's you know, not something that I came out with a song and then I'm huge. You know, I don't have that kind of success to speak of, but I have success to speak of a growing and enduring legacy that at the end of the day, especially as it relates to independent artists, I guess by the time I'm done, life is on my side to keep releasing, is, you know, I will definitely have contributed to the tapestry of music, especially on the independent side. And so I think that my name will safely be somewhere in that conversation, which that feels good, because, you know, I feel like I don't have to sell out to be relevant. I can release music on my terms, and it feels good to be able to do that and not be beholden to, you know, certain powers that be that tell you that you have to do this or you have to do that.
Absolutely. And I said the same thing with my guest, Stephen Boyce, who's another independent artist. He said the same thing. It feels good to be able to release your music on your own terms. And as far as the creativity, is your album artwork, everything, the way you want it, it feels great to do it independently. And that's what he was saying when we did our interview, because he's
Yes.
releasing something also, too. Miss Stevie, we got an Italian magazine watching the show,
Yes.
too, and that is Spazzy Demo Magazine. Says, hi, Will, and your cousin says, enjoyed and has enlightened me regarding your craft. And she says she loves you.
Okay. Thank you. She's gone. She's gone. She has kids and grandkids. She's probably running after somebody.
Yes, and welcome, Spazzy. Welcome to the Dollhouse. We are here with Will, and we are talking about his single, which is out right now on all platforms. Of course, I lied. Make sure you guys go and stream all of his music from the beginning to end. That, I mean, if you're going through something, because you are in my playlist in heavy rotation, I have an R&B playlist, and I have you in my playlist. I have Kenny Lattimore. Who else is in there? Tank is in there. Shantae Moore. I mean, all of the R&B artists. And back to your point about R&B being dead. even Tate said that no, it's not there. There's a new generation of R&B artists that are
No.
coming out because if you
Yeah.
go way, way back in the '90s, you had Silk, you had 112, you had Jodeci, you've had Mariah Carey. I mean, it was
Yes.
so many that sung about love. Yeah,
So many. Yeah, so many, and like I said, it's not dead. I think that we hear, depending on what we how we choose to consume our music, we hear probably the same 10 big artists over and over and over, and that's just what's ingrained in our psyche, and we really don't program ourselves to look outside of that, and so we just kind of accept that and we embrace that. But today, modern avenues and outlets allow for us to listen to absolutely anything. Well, so it's not like you have to go spend $9.99 anymore to buy a project. You just stream it.
I
It's
was telling
wonderful.
Stephen the same thing, and I wanted to know your thoughts on that too, because times have definitely changed compared to way back when, where you could go and you could listen to the album in the store, you could put the headphones on and scan the album, and you could select
Yes.
whatever song number you want to. You go to Walmart. I remember that it was Sam Goody's, I think, was the store, FYE, and then Walmart. Yep.
Tower Records.
Mhm.
We have Tower Records.
And you
Yeah.
had cassettes, you had eight tracks. I mean, a lot of artists are. I mean, even those already there are vinyls. There, I've seen Lenny Kravitz released a vinyl for his album. So vinyls are a thing, but CDs and as far as cassette discs, I mean, I still have them. I have my CD player, but it's like you said, technology is now taking over. We're now in a day and age of the next generation of technology, where now you have AI, and I wanted to know your thoughts on that with AI, with people being able to use someone's voice.
So I'll never be one to. I'm always a proponent of technology and advancing technology, but it you have the good and you have the bad. You have to weigh. I will tell you what kind of makes me think a little differently about it. I'm mostly positive about it, but like recently when I scroll like social media, so I'll scroll and I see so many people I love, music. So let's just say Joe Levert. I've seen some AI images of him, or Whitney Houston's a prime example. So the other day I was scrolling and it's like all of these AI generated images and vocals of her. So this is what Whitney would sound like at age 60. And then they show this picture of how she's supposedly aged to be age 60. And then they'll put her in this picture with all these other people. And I've seen the same with Joe Levert. And I'm just like, I don't think that's in great taste to me. I'm just like, it just confuses the waters, and you get this picture of Whitney standing alone. That's not even a real picture. You put a crazy caption on it, and then someone runs with it and thinks that it's real. So it's, you could use it for nefarious reasons. And I think that, but in general, I think that AI is a wonderful thing. It's modern technology. It's where we are. It's not going to stop. We just have to accept it and embrace it. It's kind of like in music. It's almost like the argument back in the day when everyone was against auto tune. It's like auto tune isn't going anywhere, so you embrace it. You use it as an art form if you choose to. If not, you can completely not use it. But T Pain has made a complete living off of auto tune, and so has other people. So have other people. So AI is just the way of the world. Is where we are today.
Absolutely, absolutely. The music industry is definitely shifted. I feel with this coming up AI, and y'all know I'm a big Whitney Houston. So, and I told you that in our first interview. You remember? I love Whitney
Yeah, I do.
and I love Prince. People are doing now is taking these artists' voice and putting them on other artists' singles, and
Yeah,
it's just like, wow.
yeah. Well, even they have like shows. Like now, you can go and watch a show, and it illuminates like they're right there in person in 3D imagery. So it's really fascinating what they can do, but it just also makes you think that there are no limits. And then it makes some people kind of cringe because they're like, well, these people are gone, let them rest. And so I can see the appreciation for both sides of the argument, but at the end of the day, we're here. This is where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's scary because I also like Aaliyah too when she
Yeah.
rests in peace. they were taking her voice because she had a very, very distinct voice, and they were putting it on other
Hmm.
artists'
Yeah.
records. I think somebody did an AI for Jody Watley, and I'm just like, how? How, Sway?
Wow. Yeah. You can do anything. You can do anything. You know, we'll be. No, I won't say it. But I was gonna say you'll be cloning humans soon. But you can already clone animals, so the ability is there. Ethically, I don't think they'll do
Who knows? I mean, technology is changing every single day. There's something new there. And now we have the AI search bar at the top here on the gram, and it's on Google,
it.
and it's on FB and other places. So I'm like, okay, this is different. What else are they going to be shifting and changing in technology? So for you as an artist,
But you think about the whole digital medium and the whole digital platform wasn't even really a thing so many years ago. And so I guess it's just like any medium before, it has always progressed. And this is progressing now. So if you think about it, you mentioned tapes and CDs, but do you realize that there's a whole group of people who have never seen a cassette tape, who have never listened to their favorite artists on cassette? There's a whole group of people who never have played an actual CD or seen a boombox that used to carry on your shoulder. So I guess it's kind of like, my parents and grandparents had 8 tracks and, those types of things that we didn't utilize. But so we're moving into, we've been living long enough now that we can see all of these different changes in technology. And so sometimes you can feel a little left behind if you don't get on board and embrace it. So I vowed to always to be the person to accept the change and embrace it, even though at times that might be something that I might not be gung ho about in the beginning, or it's something that I'm like, why would we do that? But I come around and, it helps me stay current with what's going on in the studio. Even my recording days from the time I recorded my very first professional song was in 1998. I didn't release that song, but that was the very first song that I recorded. And just looking at the process for recording then to where we are with recording today, it is drastically different. And I have recorded through that entire era of time. And so it's just dramatically different how we record today than how we recorded even when I did my first
wow.
recording.
And it just goes to show you, back then we didn't have social media. It was call, listen to
No.
your answer machine, all of those things. You got to remember that
Yeah.
technology has definitely changed a lot since the 90s. And we're now in a day and age of the next generation, Gen Z, Gen X, where everybody is like, okay, it's about the streams, the downloads, and versus going to the store and actually buying
Yeah.
the album and getting the feeling, being able to open the album jacket and list the credits and all of that and who wrote what. Well,
Yeah. And I love that part. That was my. I used to be at the record store every Tuesday because that's when songs were released. They used to be released on Tuesdays. Now it's Fridays, but back in the day, every Tuesday. And Billboard magazine had a. I mean, the magazine was like this big. I don't know if you remember. But Billboard magazine was huge. And it was big. It would cover your face like a newspaper. And I would go to the music store and I would just sit and I would flip and I would look at the charts and just seeing who rose that week, who went down that week. It was just very exciting. So I think that a lot of that is gone. I guess if you never had it and never experienced it, it's no big deal. But for the people who had that element and to be able to open, a CD and read the liner notes, and to be able to read the thank yous and, all of that, that was special. That was something that is missing today that I really do wish that we still had around.
yes, so much has changed. And even now, I have a bunch of CDs, and I'm going back and I'm looking now, and I'm just like, wow, we've come so long from this era. And now we're in a new era of the next generation of artists that are coming up and just creating. There are so many artists out here that are doing it from the ground up independent. So, what are some gems, because you've been in the
Yes.
music industry a long time, what are some gems that you would give to the next generation of artists that are coming out? Because there's so many.
I say the thing that works for me, and it's hard to give advice because everybody will do their own thing anyway. And really, that's, I guess, the best way because no two stories are ever going to be the same. There's no true blueprint. But I think one thing that will truly help anyone who desires staying power is to be true to yourself. Don't try to be the next something or the next someone. I can only be me. I can only write what I write. You can know you can always seek to grow and improve your own craft, but I think if you dare to be or try to be someone else, that's when you make your mistakes. And so I'm always grateful to hear comparisons and to say music reminds people of certain things, but I'm also thankful that I never chased that avenue. I never went down the road to try to be like this person or to try to sound like this person. That's too much work. So I just wanted to be me. And I think that that works well for anybody who aspires to, and not just in music, but anything you want to do. Carve out your own lane. Of course, you're going to have inspiration. Of course, you're going to have people that you look up to and you admire. But you have to be your best self, and you can't aspire to be the next anybody else.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, you shocked me. Let's go back to music here. You shocked me when you came out with a single, and I've seen the clip. You guys know where I'm going. Let's play that single. I said, well,
Yeah.
well, well. Because you talk about falling in love, now it's a little bit more intimate, the intimate aspect. What was it like writing this song? Let's play.
Fun. That was a fun song. It allowed me to be playful. I had a wonderful producer for that track. I mean, it was just a good, fun song. You know, the thing about, like I said, love has so many elements and aspects and naughty a bit or what have you. But the thing is, when you can do things tastefully and when you can present things artfully and you don't have to be vulgar and you don't have to be, there's a way. To me, that's an art. To me, it's a challenge sometimes to convey a certain thought or an idea, bedroom scene or what have you, in an artful, in a tactful way. And I think Let's Play was a true depiction of that. It didn't, you get the message, the innuendos or what have you are there, but it's still a very tasteful type of delivery. And I just enjoyed it. I had fun doing that song. That's actually I had a great time doing that song. One of my favorite songs that
Now,
I've written.
whereas R&B music back in the day, it it wasn't how it is now as it pertains to intimacy and romance. Is in your face now,
Yeah,
whereas back in the day it was more so okay. You kind of have to read between the lines, tongue in cheek type of
correct.
thing. But now it's just in your face as it
Yep.
pertains to intimacy in a relationship or sexuality. And I told 112 that when I did my interview with them, I said, y'all were singing about things as far as intimacy and love and romance. And you did it in a way where it's just like, how it is it now, where it's in your face and people are saying what they want to do in A, B, C, and D. And it's just
Yeah.
changed. It's changed lives.
It's unfortunate in some ways, but I think that, again, I would look at that in many ways, and people see that that is the quick grab. That's the thing that gets the attention or the sale. And so, you know, and you also have to look at there are different layers and different elements to the music consumption base. And so, you have some people who are really going to be attracted to that more in your face type of thing. And usually they're going to be, your younger people. But even with that, I think that there's just a different approach and a different style to my music, just in general. It just always has been. I think I was trying to think of how Soul Tracks way back in the day when they first um, did some review on me. I think they called me like the sophisticated balladeer or classy serenade or something. But anyway, so recognizing that there's a way to convey the same type of thing, like in the vein of like a Teddy Pendergrass or a Luther Vandross or even Gerald Levert or some of those people who really could say everything that you could just think it all. But their words weren't vulgar. They weren't misogynistic. They didn't put women down. And I think that the travesty in some of today's music is that there are no boundaries. And I respect free speech all the time, every day, but I think that some of it encroaches upon you get to the outer limits of disrespect. And, I think that I don't ever want my music to, come across disrespectful. Always should be uplifting. Even when you're talking about, topics that are hard to deal with, I steer away from disrespecting people. And so sometimes dealing too heavily in intimacy and or not necessarily dealing too heavy in it, but using wrong word choices, I guess, or to convey your message to me, that's a disservice. But again, it's art, and you can't tell people how. You think about it, you had people who have always done that. I mean, you had
I
Millie
love
Jackson, if you're familiar with her. I mean, a phenomenal artist, phenomenal artist. I think she had a whole song
she
called
did.
"F You," but it was really she said the word. So yeah, so I mean, you have always had it. It's just, and I don't know if it's more of it today. It's just more exposure to it today because we have so many more avenues and aspects. So I'll never knock anybody for doing their thing. It's just, we're in separate lanes, and so and that's okay.
Absolutely. Times have changed way back in the 90s up until now. Again, the next generation, Gen Z, Gen X, everybody's like, okay, I like this type of stuff. But I like the classic old school
Yeah.
R&B where it's just like, okay, tongue in cheek, you could have to read between the lines, but it's there, but it's not really
Right.
there. It's just like, oh, okay, now I get what you're doing. So
Yep.
before we
Absolutely.
let you go, because we are coming to the end of the road, Fashion Dolls, this is so good. It's been 2, 3 years in the making since we chatted. Will, what,
Yes.
what is next
Yes.
for Will Preston? Because you got the single out, of course, I lied, which is the first single off of this project. What else can people expect of you in the future?
Yeah, so in a few weeks there'll be another single released, and so stay tuned for that. We'll be dropping some teasers online for that coming up real soon. So I'm excited. It's a more upbeat single taking us into the summer, so it's getting you something you can groove to and feel good about. So I'm very excited about that. But I'm really excited, and this is interesting because coming on to talk to you today, I haven't made this announcement to too many people. No one on the social platforms or in public, but I think Mickey may be aware. But I am launching my own apparel line later this year. And so that's going to be something that's very exciting to you and your Fashion Dog crew. It's actually going to start as a men's line, but we'll grow as the years go on. And so I'm very excited about that. And so again, keeping it close to the chest right now because we're still working through some details of some styling and stuff like that. But we will be launching at the a little later this year. So I'm excited about that. So there are things happening for Will Preston, and I'm glad of the fact that I'm not just one dimensional. I have a lot of things that I love to do and dabble in, and music fits so well into that. And I have a creative mind, a creative spirit, but I'm also very business minded, very entrepreneurial focused, and it just all works together well. And so we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited, and I can't wait to talk to you more about it and even show you in advance some of the
I
things that
can't
I'm working
wait.
on.
The apparel line, because I've always wondered, you've got the albums out and everything, but I'm just like, when are we going to get the apparel? So that confirms it
Yeah,
right then and there.
it is. And it's not so. The apparel line is not a Will Preston apparel. I mean, it's Will Preston, but it's not Will Preston R&B artist apparel. It is an apparel line that is the name of it is My Best Interest. So My Best Interest apparel. So I'm excited. It's
I
gonna be
can't
it's gonna
wait
be good.
for it. Fashion Dolls, do we have any questions?
Councilwoman, we got Councilwoman Keosha Bell in the building. Big stuff. She's councilwoman down here in Georgia, out in Clayton County, I believe. Miss Keosha
Welcome,
Bell.
Councilwoman. And she says, good evening, Dr. Preston. Now, I'm going to ask you about that. Dr. Preston, did you go back to.
So
Go
this
ahead, I'm sorry.
is Well, so this is well, I guess I'm trying to think of when I talked to you last. I earned my doctorate in 2020 or 21. But a lot of people don't know. But yeah, I have an actual doctorate degree. So I have a doctorate degree in organizational leadership and behavior, focused in the education sector. But yeah, so Dr. Preston, I'm truly a doctor. But
And uh,
maybe I'll release a project one day, a musical project called "From the Doctor" or "The
yes,
Doctor
because you
Speaks,"
are a doctor. You are a
something
doctor in
like
a way. You're healing people's relationships. You're healing people falling in
Yep.
love. You
Right.
are healing people in a way. So in a way, you are a
Yeah.
doctor, and you are a actual doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That is
Fashion
true.
Dolls, before we wrap up, are there any questions for myself or Will? This has been amazing. It was so good catching up with you. It's been 2, 3 years in the making. My schedule's been busy. Your schedule has been busy. You've been dropping music. You've been doing a lot of press for the single and everything. And I'm glad that Mick set this up. So, Mick, thank you for reuniting us again because we've both been so busy and our schedules are different and everything. So, Mick, thank you again for this
Yes.
publication.
And you know what's crazy? What's crazy is that you and I probably, I think, what you're, I'm in Atlanta. That's where I'm based. I think
You
you're in what,
remember
South Carolina?
again, yes.
Yeah. But I say that to say that you and I haven't talked in 3, 4 years. Mickey's all the way in London or in the UK, and we talk every day. And she had to hook it up so that we could get on the phone or get on this together. And we're only a couple states over, so a state over. So it's interesting how life works and who connects you. You know, she's
Yes,
definitely
and
a
she is a
connector.
blessing. Mick, thank you so much for setting this interview up with Will. And I would love to have you on again because I know you have so much that is coming out with your apparel and more music, the single. We've got to have you back again in the fall.
I look forward
So,
to
Will,
it.
before we let you go, are there any encouraging words that you would like to give to your fans, to your supporters? Because you know I'm big, I support your music, and I love your music. And it's helped me heal even from relationships, breakups, all of these. Your music has had us feeling
Awesome.
all types of feeling. But what advice would you give to anybody who's looking to find love or just getting out of a relationship or trying to repair their relationship? What advice or gems would you give them?
Yeah, I would say again, be you. You know what you want. Don't settle for things in life. A lot of times we go wrong when you just settle. Don't settle. Take the time to first of all discover who you are, discover what you want to do in life. You can't be anything to anyone until you take care of yourself, and I think that's one big mental hurdle that people don't recognize. They look for someone else to fill voids and gaps that exist within their own personal being, and so you have to be whole first, or at least on the way to being whole. And obviously, you can encounter people who can help you become whole, but don't look for people to do that for you. You got to be there for yourself. And I would just say, thank you to everybody who continues to support my music. Like I say, my base continues to grow, and I am so appreciative of that. And when I started writing music and recording, it was more of a thing of this is what I want to do. It's just what I love to do. It's what I like to do. And now there's an accountability element to it because people look for it, and it keeps me motivated to do it. And I get things done a little quicker because I know that people want to hear it. And so I thank everybody for that push. I thank people for continuing to want to hear from Will Preston. So that feels good to produce things and deliver projects that people are excited about.
Absolutely. And to add on to what Will just said, today's final thought comes from Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins says this: goal setting is the secret to a compelling future. I love to plan ahead. That is something that is big to my heart. I love to plan ahead. And you guys know that I did a vision board for this year as well too. Almost everything on that vision board has now come to fruition. All of these things are happening so fast, not just for me, but other people as well too throughout their careers. People that I'm friends with, Will here, and Nick, and so many others. Everybody's messaging me or calling me or texting me and saying all of these great things are happening. That's because we manifested and we also planned ahead. And that is the key to goal setting. Write down whatever it is that you envision in your life and you want to bring it to reality and make it come true. I started this platform back in 2014, right after high school. And now, me being grown up now, because I was very, very young when I first started. I'm in my 30s now, I'm 30 years old. Young, when I would tell my younger version of myself, is you got this. It's going to have bumps in the road,
Yeah.
but you got this. Just plan ahead. And even at that age, I was still planning ahead on what's going to happen with this platform, what I wanted to look like, the aesthetic, everything the way I wanted it to be. So write your dreams down, write your visions down. I keep a diary, and nobody's able to read it. I keep it personal because it's personal to me. And I always write down goals or things that I envision for myself and what I envision for other people to come to reality. And I had a conversation with my mother yesterday on what we want to do with the next future and parts of our lives as far as this platform takes off. And it is taking off so fast. So thank you all so much for your love and your support. And you too will, because It was great to catch up with you again. It's been long in the making. And Mick has a question for you. She wants to know when is the next single going to be released?
I think it's the second Friday in June, but I have to look. Tell her she'll be the first to know. She'll be the first to know. So I will let you know for sure, Mickey. I think it's the second week of June,
Mick
the second
trying to
Friday
set
in
you
June.
up. You
But
trying to get her to release that date,
I know
girl.
she's gonna. She's. I know she's trying to get me to give it a date. But Miss Stevie, so I just want to say though to you too, congratulations. I have really seen your platform just soar. I tuned in one day and you had Vanessa Williams on, and tuned in another day and someone else was on, and I was like, so this is big time. And so I'm grateful and honored just to be amongst the few. So she is. You're doing wonderful things, and your name is great, and people are recognizing you for all the work that you're doing, not only in the fashion industry but just in journalism in general. And you have so many wonderful interviews from all different facets and different walks of life, and so there's so much to glean and to gain when watching your interviews and watching you and your guests. So
Thank you
congratulations on
so
your
much, Will.
success.
And it's been a journey, and you've been a part of that journey. Out of all of the icons that I've had on my platform, you're one of them as well too. And I'm glad. I'll never forget the
Thank
first day
you.
we met when I reached out to Will about doing an interview on my show. And this was around the time the pandemic broke out. Nobody was sure if everything was going to
Mhm.
go open back up or anything. And we did our interview back in 2021. Mick was shocked when I sent it to her. She said, "Oh, so you know Will?" When she told me she was going to start managing you, I said, "Yes, I know Will. I've had him on my show before." And I sent her the interview clip. She
Yeah,
was shocked. She said, "Oh, so you know?" I said, "Yes,
yeah,
Mick. You brought us together, and we thank you so much for bringing us
yeah.
together."
I think this is my third time, because I think the first time was in 21, and then when I released the
Yep,
Christmas song, I think I was back
yep.
on at Christmas. Yeah.
The Christmas single
Yeah.
too.
So
So
yeah.
three
Yeah.
interviews all together. It's been a minute though because
Yeah.
Mick, our scheduling. Yes.
It's been a
So
while. Yeah.
thank you. You again created a diamond. You created a diamond just in disguise. And thank you for just giving each and every one of us an opportunity.
Thank
We
you.
can't thank you enough, Mick. So thank you. Hats off to you. And we had to give you your flowers, girl. And I look forward to chatting with you in August because she's coming. She was supposed to do the show with me today, and she told me what happened. She said, "Steve, I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm not feeling too hot. Give Will my slot." And I said, "Sure. Whatever you want me to do, boss lady," because I call her boss lady. And she sent me all. She said, "I'm his
Yeah.
publicist," and she sent me all your information stuff. I'm like, "Okay, Mick, I know Will." So
That's wonderful. She's
yes.
great. She is awesome.
So before we let you go, we'll let everyone know where they can follow you and check out your music.
Absolutely. So on Instagram, the Will Preston. TikTok is that's YEP, the Will Preston. Twitter or X, it's the Will Preston. Will Preston Music on Facebook, or just Google. I'm on every Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you can listen to find music. I'm there. Just Google me, Will Preston R&B music. You'll find me. So I'll be around, and I look forward to connecting with other
All
music
right,
lovers out there.
Fashion Dolls, ladies and gentlemen, Will Preston. Make sure you guys go and check out the single. Of course, I lied. It is out now on all platforms. Check out Will's entire category of music. Again, you'll be feeling some type of way. You fall in love. You want to fall out of love. You want to get sick of the person you're in a relationship with. He has music for everything romance. So please go and check it out. Definitely. Now, joining me next week, Fashion Dolls, she's the first female rapper that I've ever interviewed on my platform because all the rappers that I've interviewed, musicians that I've sat with, I've had some female artists here, but she's the first female rapper that I'm interviewing. And next week, we have Miss Showbiz, and she is going to be joining me. She's also a master hairstylist. So we are going to talk summer, spring hair trends for this season, upcoming 24. So make sure you guys tune in next week. Now, we covered the beauty of the face and everything this week with Shayla Crayola. Also, make sure you guys vote for your favorite look of the week. That is coming up as well, too. It was 4 shows this week, so you guys make sure you vote for your favorite look of the week. And also, subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime if you you have not, this interview with Will be uploaded, and you guys can go and check out our previous shows. The Christmas show we did for his Christmas single, and the previous interview that we did, which was our very first interview, and this one, the third one for the books, and more to come. I love y'all, and I want y'all to have a safe and fab weekend, Fashion Dolls. And Will, it was great seeing you again.
Thank you. Great
Take care,
seeing you.
Fashion Dolls, and you guys have a fab weekend. And check out this week's shows. I love you all. Catch up, and I will see you later. Take it easy.